So we already had technical
Number one
difficulties.
plus one equals three.
That's right. That was you, right? Yeah. So we'll give him 45 seconds or so. Listen to the tune. Yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, it's a lot on the human aspect right now. You know?
It is, but it's one of the most amazing times to be in because
No
we
kidding.
can connect to so many different people. Look at us right now connecting, and even
Right.
how we connected.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is exactly how I see this all going. I'm very, the internet or technology, things like that, I'm very skeptical of it.
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
I have met awesome people through it, so I can't deny it's, uh, you know, valuable.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good description. Um, but you know what I noticed? Okay, so first of all, everybody, this is Jenn Lynn. She's my friend since 2017. 2017. December, late December, last week, December 2017. You, you're like one of those people, like my friend Hung. You're not real active, and you're like really careful about what you watch, I guess, or like what you're talking about. Um, and you were uh, connected to Lavelle Zimmerman and Amon Ra. And then I guess so I was in a blizzard in New Jersey, getting kicked out of a hotel, and somehow or another, I got an Uber with $96 to go to Grand Central Station, and I think I had $97 on my PayPal, and then you were so gracious. You put me up for a couple of days in a spare room, and in those early days, as I was doing that and just going from place to place, it was very vulnerable. And obviously, I wasn't dealing from a position of linear world strength. Let's just say, no money, no nothing, right? Just a dream and a microphone. But you were one of the few people that offered something up and wanted nothing back. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't say that to throw shade on people, because we're all dealing with and releasing different programming. But that was very something I always remembered. Yeah, and that was very cool of you. So yeah,
Well, you were offering things up with nothing in return as well, because there was many nights that nobody understood what I was thinking or I could relate to. And, if it wasn't for listening to your show or Lavelle's show, who knows where I'd be right now, You could have checked out of here. That's for
yeah,
sure. Because it certainly seemed upside down to me. I mean, for 10 years, I literally stood on my head.
that's
I
right.
did headstand for 10 years. I'd go to a party. It would just all seem crazy to me, and I would walk outside or right there in the party and just do headstands
You
because
would you would
I
stand
didn't
up.
know how to express myself.
Well, I remember you showing me a couple of pictures and telling me the story, but I didn't know that you would do a headstand in the middle of a party.
Yeah. Mhm. New York City. It didn't matter. I just felt like things were so upside down. But that also inspired other people to do
Yeah.
headstands.
Did it really?
There's nothing wrong with headstands. It's good for, the blood flow.
Was
So
was there a
and
whole
balance
was
and
there a
that
whole
stuff. So,
headstand movement or what?
yeah, I think we left off a little headstand movement. However, I rather like what I liked about our friendship is that everybody always likes to say that you can't really have a masculine feminine friendship and things like that.
That's
And
right.
even me and you had like touched on this subject, and you know what, Todd? It's not just the masculine and the feminine that get confused about the love that you can have for somebody without sex and lust and all that nonsense that comes along with it. Confusion or distraction or whatever you want to call it. It's not really nonsense. But anyways, we really can, without that sexual distortion, because so
Right.
many people were, sexually abused. I'm going to say like, I don't know how many, but so many people I'll just speak for myself. So in that case, sex has always been distorted, and you didn't really know, like when you loved somebody and you cared for somebody, or if you recognized them like their soul from, maybe other lifetimes or something, it always went sexual because that's all we knew. This was
Right.
like this program. Well, it definitely was in my case. So it's nice that we're in this new energy, I call it. I don't know what it is. Some people like to say it's the age of Aquarius, the age of Pisces, things like that. Um, we can have that. And
Yeah.
we are having that, and I have seen that, and I have it. I know that. So, but I haven't had it in the past. So it's something that more and more, I think people are understanding that the connections are connections. It's like these soul connections or these past life connections have been misunderstood,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
and thrown into a sexual thing. Then you don't even become friends with that person.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now we had intimacy and now
Yeah.
I never talk to you again. Meanwhile, we have a connection, but we brought it to a place that now we can't even have friendship or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. Yeah. We're 3D was fuck, then try to be friends. 5D is be friends, and then if it happens, something happens, whatever. No, but I shouldn't joke about that.
yeah,
No, yeah, you're very right, and I think that's something that has come out over the last couple of years, maybe even longer. But I mean, I think people are really starting to understand or even feel in their body. I mean, I can speak to a lot of different accounts of different people I know and men that I know that just won't go there. They're not going to go there. It's not that they don't want to, but something's telling them this is not something like it used to be. I've seen that. Some of my friends that I've run into from here and there. But yeah, something's definitely happened. And I don't know if it's just that, like, say, I don't think you had to be. I think what you said is more accurate, like soul recognition. It didn't even have to be romantic in a past life. It's just soul recognition. So what is that? I think also you can have those feelings when you are in a certain environment, say a high frequency environment. It's a kundalini sensation, right? I mean, I got it playing music for the first time in a studio in July. And my friends were like, "What do you think of this?" And I, after an hour of doing music, and I said, "Man, this feels like very like sacred sexual kind of energy, just like moving through you." And I feel like that maybe that's a sensation, well, obviously well beyond the human experience, that is going to be a part of our existence. It's almost like our magnetization and electricity all kind of in one. I don't know. I don't know.
well, that is what we are, right? Electricity and magnetism.
Yeah.
That's the spirit and the soul and the body.
Yeah. So you have I can like sum some things up because I remember. Um, you have a really interesting story, like so many people. I think, did you grow up in Queens or did you grow up in Long Island?
No, Long Island.
That's
I
what I
just
thought.
have really
Yeah.
broken English.
Yeah. So I know that you grew up in it's New York City. New York City's New York City, and then you got injured at about 12 years old. I think either shot or stabbed. Shot, I think. And just you have this. You come out of that. You go into hairstyling. And we'll talk about some of that. That's part of the reason that I asked if you wanted to come on, was to talk about some of the stuff that you're doing now. And what I was trying to say is your life is very interesting, like so many of the people that come on here. But your recent developments are really intriguing to me and of interest to me, and I think would be of interest to a lot of people. But we'll get to that later. I just kind of wanted to kind of go through a quick synopsis. So you went into to very consciously into hairdressing, and you had your whole experiences like so many of us have had. And I don't know if you want to fill anything in that I might have left out that you feel is important, but to get to just very recently, like I guess last year, year and a half or something, you get the call like so many people, and you basically cash your chips in, and you end up in this New York girl ends up in the South, in the deep South, in North Carolina, living in a communal type of environment that's embracing in harmony a lot of the things that people talk about that they're doing or want to do. So I don't know if I left anything out, but you can just fill it in from there.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. We are a community, and like most communities, people have come and gone, you know. What makes this community special is that it is primarily family. So when things get tough, you just work it out. You don't leave because
Right.
everybody loves one another.
Right.
It's not the egos that come in like something that where it's not family. I mean, even with family, egos are there. Let's face it, the ego is part of this experience. But when there's love involved and there's trust, I think trust is the most important out of everything. Like in the last few months, that word has been way more important than love to me. Trust, like,
Trust.
uh, so yeah, yeah, trust, and basically on the farm, you have to be accountable. You don't have the option to just go and seclude yourself and try
You
to,
have to.
you know,
You have
uh,
to.
be
You have to.
alone. There's
Yeah.
no being alone. Every
Yeah.
day you have to be accountable. You have to, be a part of the farm because it has to keep going. And the animals get up every day and need water and need food. And so do all the plants and things like that. So it's not as easy as some people think it is, but you get to get up every morning in the sunshine when the sun first comes up, the best time to get the sun on your face and get all that energy. And then when the sun is setting, you get it. So those are two things that I always like to have in my life, be able to watch the sunset. And as a hairdresser, I never got to see the sun. I mean, the sunrise, I always had. The sunset, I never had. So now I get that every single day. And we all have different jobs on the farm, and it changes. You have to be able to adapt because life on the farm, every day there's something. There's animals. We have about 100 animals. So you can just
Wow.
imagine that, like,
No, I
and they're all
can't
different.
imagine that. What is that? What are you talking about? Wait a minute. Hang on a
So
second.
it's
So,
goats and cows and yaks and um, pigs and sheep and ducks and chickens and what I leave? Oh, donkeys. And we just got two more donkeys. Uh,
what do you
Yeah.
use the
So
donkeys?
there's a lot of action on the farm because
Yeah.
goats are like little rascals and they're always escape artists getting out, and you don't want them to eat your food. But anyways, the farm life is you have to be accountable. And for me, like, I was very social at work, and you have to, as a hairdresser, kind of be social on the outside as well. There's always, this is what the 3D world was. There's always marketing, marketing. Everything you did. If you went somewhere, it was to market. You got to market yourself, market yourself. That world is, like, hopefully behind us.
Right.
And where you're not coming into anything, like, you don't come to the farm to see what you could get, or in any environment, community, that you see what you can give. What can I offer here? What can I give the land? What can I give this space? And those are the type of people that get to build the communities and be in the communities. It's not like it's about freedom. It's not about freeloading or anything like that. Like, those are the things of the past. Everybody has a talent. Everybody can work. Everybody can do something. And we actually, within our community, because this is with a homes on like a 50-acre property. So at one time we were all under kind of one roof, but we've spread out since the homes got fixed up. We had to fix everything up and do things like that. So I don't know where I was at with that
No,
story,
that's
but
this is it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack.
yeah,
so
it is.
so you made this. I mean, you had a motorcycle. You like to ride motorcycles. You had your hairdressing thing going on. You were around family. I know where you lived. I mean, and so in a very short period of time, you did this turnaround. I'm sure there must have been
I
some
sold
kind of
everything.
yeah,
And
and yeah, and I'm sure there must have been some kind of adjustment or transition period. But like for things like, because I know you work a lot with the animals and the land. Like so, just for instance, with the land, I've seen plenty of videos that you do on YouTube, and I love these videos, and on Facebook. They're not very long, most of them. They're very informative, and I applaud you for putting that stuff out because I'm just a big advocate for that. But anyway,
well, you're
like,
part of the reason why I did it. So go ahead.
oh yeah, how's that? I never wanted to be a farmer.
No, no, put the videos up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. But like, I know when I met you, you were already working with herbs. I know at a minimum, maybe some holistic stuff, but also for hair care. And but watching some of your videos, you are learning a lot about plants and different edibles, you know, live food. And did you have to learn that stuff? Did you know some of that stuff? Was that part of the adjustment and the transition for you? Did it come easy?
Oh no, I had to learn it. It did not come easy. And we really had a lot going on the farm. I do
Mm.
want to share how much. I mean, we have sawmills here. When the trees get knocked down, they make their own wood from the trees that get knocked down here. We make our beds for the gardens that way. So many different things that you can obviously use wood with. We do biochar. We make our
What is that?
own.
What is that? Bio?
That's also a way that you cook. You burn wood to. It's not activated charcoal. It's biochar. Like you put nutrients in it and
Okay.
in the biochar, and then you put it into your compost and
God,
your
it sounds like you have your own little crew like Gilligan's Island, and somebody's the professor figuring all this stuff out.
yeah, we all have, well, everybody has their own little thing like that. Anthony's amazing builder and contractor, but he can fix any little trinket thing
Mm.
or lawnmowers, or he fixes a lot of chainsaws because that's a big thing here. But if I turn the camera around, you'd see that the stove is out because we're constantly moving things back and forth and all around, including the animals, including all the furniture and all the houses. So we're very active. That's why, like every single day, it's busy. And if you remember me, I was kind of like I worked very busy during the week, like I was saying before, as a hairdresser. But then in the weekend, I'm secluded. I didn't want to see anybody for
Right, right.
like as many days as I could have off. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I don't talk on the phone. I still don't really talk on the phone, but I have to see people every single day. I have to be accountable every single day. And that's something that's new for me. And I had to have a big adjustment with that. But I say that that's something that I keep hearing a lot of people say that they need solitude and things
Hmm.
like that. But
I agree
I don't
with you.
I think that it's the reverse. I think that we have to get out of that solitude. We've had this solitude. We've had this solitude, this inner. That's going to come now. Anyways, it's time to join up. Start this. Get this thing going. Connect with people. We have to do. And the amazing part is this is how we can do it. We have the access now. It's not like 100 years ago. Even though who knows what the truth is back then, but we have access to connect, and it just has to be one community at a time, because that's the only way that it's going to start,
Right. Right.
But we can't be our own little solitude islands, the black sheep, the ones out, because we're not.
Yeah.
There's so many
I think.
people who, I mean, they might not just die at the farm, but definitely living
Yeah, but
outside
what?
of the system.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. I think there's certainly people in it. Uh-oh. What happened? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Okay. The solitude thing, obviously it's something that we have to do sometimes, but I think what you're speaking of is perpetual solitude. And I think the other thing that you're speaking of, which I totally agree with, whether somebody has to be in solitude now and they're going to have to wait 6 months or 6 weeks or 6 days, the more we co-create and collaborate, the more contagious this energy is, because it requires us to put up and show up and walk the talk. And I think that's, like from an energetic standpoint, that's kind of what I get out of because I've had a lot of people talk to me over the years and even come on the show and talk about communities, and I've watched a lot of people try to do it. And it's a very difficult thing because it's really an equality-based kind of thing, or at least to the best of your ability, the group's ability, coming out of a 3D paradigm where there's possession and ownership and shares and all that. But I like the feel of, I think getting the energy from the farm that you're on, I can't really say that I've picked up the same type of energy from any other experience, but I could be missing something. But it's really, the big thing I get out of it is it's not a have to, but it's sharing and showing up. That's what I get from you. Like from your group, it's like sharing. You show up, you share what you have, because it's not giving, because sharing, you're getting something. It's an automatic thing, right?
We trade amongst each other.
Right,
Or
right.
like when I give somebody a haircut, they bring me honey or spaghetti
Yeah.
or
Spaghetti.
bread. Like somebody's bring me down something right now. That we trade amongst each other
Mm,
in those types of fashions.
mm.
We uh, we are all so different too, Todd. Not everybody here is, spiritual, thinking on a community level and things like that. Believe it or not, uh, they've they've grown into it, but the people who created this, Rebecca and Anthony, their parents who came along are very different. You have democratics, you have like so many different mind frames here, and we are all here on the farm, went through the whole COVID together, all of the craziness and all of that, being very diverse. We were all very diverse and able to do it. And here we are coming out even stronger. Like it was tough. I'm not going to say it wasn't tough, because just like it was in the outside world, we had that here, but on a small nucleus,
Mm-hmm.
way. So it doesn't have to be that we're all love and light, which I don't believe in anyways, but because we're shadow, obviously.
Yeah, I got you.
It could be everybody's kind of different in different mind frames, but have the same goal. Everybody wants to make the farm work or give. It's about, and it's not about giving everything away. It's just about, like you said, trade, exchange. We all understand the laws of attraction and things like that. That has to be give and take. Like, you can't just take from somebody. Most people here that are here have done a lot of their inner work, though. I'm not
Okay.
saying that they have not done
Right.
their inner work.
Right.
They've done it.
Well, there's probably been a
Very
few.
good.
There's probably been a few spun out of there too, because of the frequency that you guys are carrying as a group. Plus,
Very much so.
you've been through you've been through it. So you've been through it together.
Hmm.
That's a pretty strong foundational element, for the farm. Like how many? Like is it like? Forgive me because I'm a city boy, whatever. But is it like working on the farm like you see on TV or in the movies? I mean, you up from sun up to sundown? Are you always moving?
Hmm. That's
Wow.
how it is. And I put on some makeup today, but I never wear makeup. My hair pretty much looks the same, but uh, you're always in farm clothes,
Right. Right.
smelly, dirty hands, dirty feet, and there's nothing wrong with that to me. I love earthing. I think it's so important. It's one of the major things we're missing. We have chakras on our feet, just like our hands. And when we pray, we're not supposed to do this. We're supposed to go up to the sun and feel the sun, and you could immediately feel the heat on your hands. This closes us up, It's
Right.
just
Right.
a 3D thing. But yeah, we have definitely dirty hands and dirty feet on the farm.
Do you ever wear
Yes,
shoes on the farm?
we do. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
especially
just.
in the wintertime. And you have to wear boots for digging and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
everybody gets into everything. There's no, well, her parents, not everybody does everything. Her mom does a lot of like care with the kids and the dogs. Her father is super duper with the electrical stuff and anything that has to do with that, like heating and repair, and so is her husband. And then we count on neighbors, believe it or not, if you haven't believed that one.
What do you mean?
The neighbors are just as much of this community as we are behind the gates, 'cause,
Oh
or
wow.
whatever you want to call it.
Like is that like the neighbor on either side or just like a whole bunch of them?
Neighbor on both sides,
Wow,
yes.
that's cool. That's cool.
We built we built community, and we're trying to build more. We're trying to work with somebody else to have a nice drum circle, and there's like three other neighbors. We're trying to do the community thing.
So
Rebecca's, go ahead,
like
sorry.
if you're no, that's okay. There's a bit of a lag. I'm not trying to interrupt you. So like like so most of us. Well, I can't really say that today, but certainly not living in the environment you're living on with as many people. Let's put it that way. Uh, but so a lot of us are still. We're all, I guess, kind of undoing the 3D. You're over there. You don't even leave for days at a time, I would imagine, and
Weeks maybe,
weeks
believe it
even.
or not.
Yeah.
Go to the store, and if you need anything, they'll pick it up for you, or um, we 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 try to keep as for me personally, I try not to go to the store as much as possible. So I try to eat
So
from our
you're
garden.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant that you're showing up and mixing with people on the farm, but you're still working on being able to do it as you go into town. I'm just messing with you. Uh, but what I was going to ask you was, like, for let's say for me or whoever, uh, to different degrees, we have to like stop and concentrate or meditate or connect and out of the rhythms of the 3D, let's just say, because I'm in the middle of Sedona. If I go run to the store, there's all these energies, and we know the story. But like living on a farm and doing these duties that are literally from sun up to sundown, and the rhythms, the natural rhythms of it all. Do you even have to try to connect anymore? Or are you kind of in a constant relationship with what we might call nature, or the universal energy?
I would say that because even where my place is, I'm like in a treehouse. It's like a dream.
Do what?
And I walk out my door, and it's a pond that enters into this enchanting forest. It,
Wow.
it really is living
Do you live in
in
a? Did you
like
say
a
you live in a?
Garden of Eden paradise.
Did you say you live in a treehouse?
What I think is a treehouse. It's
Okay.
not a treehouse,
Okay.
but the tree is surrounding my house, and it
Oh wow.
literally looks like a
Oh cool.
treehouse. But
Cool.
no, not yet, not
Very
yet,
cool.
Todd. Maybe one day.
So do you ever like? Okay, so how long you been on the farm? Like a year?
Like 2 years.
Oh, really? 2 years. Okay. Do you ever miss the hustle and bustle of New York City? Do you ever miss like?
Absolutely not.
Huh? No.
I never, I always considered myself like a farm girl at heart.
All right.
Um, Although because I got shot and I was paralyzed, I do have like uh, it's not easy work farm life because not only was I paralyzed, about 10 plus years ago, I then fractured my pelvis on top of that. So, like,
Jeez.
lifting your legs over fencing and things like that, it's a little tricky.
So you,
But
I
not, I'm sorry.
no no. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a lag. So you, I didn't remember that you when you got shot you were paralyzed. Were you paralyzed for an extended period of time? Did you have to like rehab or what happened?
Yeah, I was paralyzed from the waist down, told I'd never walk again,
Wow.
and was given like a couple of options for operation. And I was like, no way, I'm going to walk again. I was like,
You you
Mom,
you really
we're
you
not
made
doing this. And she agreed with me, and we didn't do it. And before I knew it, it's a typical story. You throw your legs over the side of the bed, you fall, like that whole story. Eventually, you stand.
what
Um,
made you
just keep trying, trying, trying. Willpower, which is a big one right now, Todd. Willpower. Huge.
talk about it? Talk about it. Willpower. What do you mean?
This is what we all need to get our will, and that's for anything. That's including like, say you want to give something up. It's not discipline or something like it's willpower. We have to think of it like as willpower.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that's what got us into some of the things that we got away from. It was our willpower wanting to do something, even though something was telling us not to. Maybe you could put it that way. But like even this thing, like with you knowing, because it sounds like, yeah,
it's a
I see the
superpower.
willpower you're saying now. Because if I look to your story, I was going to say there was a part of you that knew you could walk again, but that wasn't even it. You just said, "I'm going to walk again." That's what you're talking about with willpower. I'm
And
going
I said
to.
every single day, and I said it. I'd scream it from the top of my lungs till they wanted me to walk on out of that hospital. And that's, basically kind of what happened.
Well,
But anyways, it isn't easy work, is what I'm saying.
right.
But we all have, listen to my story. If I could do it, and I do it every single day, and there's been times like, then when I moved down the hill, because that's where I am now, walking up the hill every day and doing, I was like, oh, I don't know. Each time I have to do something else, I think, I don't know if I could be a farmer, but then you work through it and you keep doing it every single day. You work through it, you realize, oh, okay, yeah, no, it's not a big deal. It's just my body had to adjust a little differently. And you have to do like healing herbs along this journey. This
Like,
whole time, like I'm constantly healing things that have been lying dormant my whole life. But not only that, we have things like, did you ever hear of Pulse? EMF Pulse. We have
yes,
this
yes.
chair
I've
that you
heard of it.
sit in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do that, which is giving you a pulse, kind
Yeah.
of like the Rife machines,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
But
but
this,
it's scalar energy.
yeah, a lot. I've had some friends that just installed the EE system or whatever it is, and there's a place over here I think too that has it. They have a bunch of beds. Yeah, that's interesting stuff. And of course, here in the studio, Ty does it with music.
Nice.
Produces the scalar
Yeah,
waves. Um,
frequencies.
what was I going to ask? Oh, so you just mentioned that part of your lifestyle is like holistic maintenance, holistic
Hmm.
healing,
Yep.
natural healing. Like, did you have to like read up on that stuff, and how much of a part of a day of your day is it? in terms of like self treatment, because I know obviously you have a hand in growing the stuff and and all that stuff, but like how much of your day, uh, or what part of your day does it represent? Like, is it a daily practice, the holistic?
It is on in it pretty much is a daily practice. Now it changes, I would like to make a green juice every single day, but I don't. Like today I had a headache. I wasn't feeling that well, so
You had a
I
hamburger.
made, and I never really get headaches, Todd. But anyways, I did like holy basil and um what other tincture? I don't know. Oh, turkey tail mushroom.
Turkey,
So
what? Oh, a mushroom, turkey tail mushroom.
yes,
So,
mushroom.
are you now? You have chickens. I mean, are you vegan, vegetarian, vegan?
I never throw myself.
Yeah,
Todd,
yeah,
I try not to do
right,
as many, I don't eat meat right now, but I do eat eggs.
right, right.
They eat meat, they eat, the animals on the farm. So, what I do is I just try to give the animals like a lot of love, of
Yeah,
course, and so
yeah.
does everybody else. Everybody does here on the farm. I couldn't live here
Wow,
if it wasn't the case. Everybody has mercy, and
well,
they
that's a
we sing to the animals, and uh, it, Anthony, he's that's the co-creator with his wife Rebecca. He's the one who mainly takes care of most of the animals, and he's also the one that harvests them.
mm,
And then afterwards, he'll spend hours and hours to pay them homage in like saving their feathers perfectly and making
wow. This is
whether
interesting.
it's a high.
Wow.
So everybody, and he's not really, he doesn't believe in the spiritualism stuff that,
This
I believe in, but he definitely has a spiritual
well, it
side like
sounds
that.
yeah, it sounds like he has the same approach as the Native Americans. As you would hear with the Native
A
Americans.
lot of us do, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, and I think that we sometimes forget because um, whatever culture we look at, I love history and Native American history. I've researched a lot since I was a little kid. But for as much as we hold certain parts of us in a higher esteem than others, we often overlook that there was another side to it. There was another side. There was a very dark side to the Native American civilization. I'm talking about murder, rape, killing children. I mean, and I'm not trying to be negative. What I'm trying to point out is that some people might look at Anthony and say, how can you do that? But he's actually uh, approaching this uh, in a sacredness. The wheel of life, the circle of life, and so as judgments start to fade away because of our willpower and because we're tired of the bullshit, I think it behooves us to remember that the grass isn't always greener. The grass is right here. And
Yes.
for every yin, there's a yang. So for everything you see in me, like you said earlier, you don't believe in the love and light thing. I don't either because the dark is an equal proposition. If not even the greater proposition in
Right.
terms of the void. Where do we go? All of us can relate to the void, the holy darkness, the
Todd,
mother's.
that's another thing, actually, that when I was shot, um, they said that I died on the table. So what I remembered was darkness.
Right.
Um, but I couldn't tell anybody because it was like I was going to hell or something. I didn't see that light everybody talked about. So I did eventually, but not there,
Right.
not then.
Right.
And the truth is that the light is like the reincarnation part of it, and the darkness is the resting and that's a good place too. Like there's, I'm not really too sure in what the afterlife is, but the dark isn't hell. It's not hell.
No, it's
That's,
not. You know, I'm
yeah.
like you. I've been in lucid dream, out of body, and probably what we might call meditation, into that void. And it's not like darkness, like I remember it being very shocking when boom, you're there. It's like it's a void. But once I got over the shock, I realized I could move around. It was all of me, actually. It's the way I kind of experienced it. So I get what you're saying, yeah.
And when we close our eyes now, we get to experience uh the other side. But most of the time we think like, oh, I can't meditate, or that we keep ourselves so busy
Hmm.
that we almost never really close our eyes.
True,
We're
true,
always stimulated.
true.
And in closing our eyes, you get to experience the other side. You really you can communicate with others, do really wild things if we just close our eyes. You don't have to sit there in a lotus position or, breathe any sort of way or anything like that. You can even be laying down in bed. I think that's how you do it, right?
Hmm.
And you just close your eyes and connect to something. Connect to something. Just be there and not be afraid. So many people are afraid of the dark, afraid of
Hmm.
death, because they lied to us again, telling us death is like final.
Right, right. And if it is, we won't know anyway. So let's raise hell till we transition. Nothing raises hell like the light. So, God, I was going to ask you something. Oh, okay. So, like, what is today? Wednesday? I would say, like, the past 2 to 4 days, people have made a lot of comments, at least in what I've seen when I've gone online, which is not a lot. But when I've done these shows, the comments the people are talking about, that it's been a pretty wild, extreme, ride the last 2 to 4 days. And I'm just wondering, in an environment like on the farm, did you feel anything these last 3 or 4 days?
I did. Yeah. Um, I've been feeling it the whole entire time. We all feel it here on the farm, just because we are in nature, which does, I believe, raise our frequency, energy, vibration, whatever you want to call it. You exchange your, energy with the earth and Mother Nature and the trees. There's like this amazing exchange that goes on. But um, and I think that does help balance us because we're forced to be out in the sun, we're forced to be out there in the nature. So that does clear up some stuff where in the past I probably could have stayed in and really recluse during these times, but I can't. So,
Do,
I get up and go and I do what it is that has to be done, and it gets you out of that energy. Because
mm-hmm.
that energy is a collective energy. And yes, we're supposed to be in it, we're supposed to be feeling it, we're supposed to be integrating it. And we're also supposed to be creating the new.
That's
We're,
what I say.
we are
That's what I say. Yeah. And creating the new, to me, means, like, okay, let's just say, I'll use myself as an example. Doing 2 to 3 Soul Speaks 5D episodes 5, 6 days a week and not expanding from there, right? Like the show could expand, or the style of show, or more shows, or other types of shows. In other words, we can't really get stagnant, right? I don't feel like that part of what's happening is we're learning to keep in motion, basically, which is what you're doing on the farm, and those that are with you. And I think it's very important to restate that you have felt the same energies, and those around you have felt the same energies that I was talking about for the last 2 to 4 days. Yet you're still functioning, and I think there's a certain Zen-esque power to that doesn't have anything to do with doctrine or dogma. It has to do with the mind, body, soul. you know,
Willpower.
moving in motion. Yeah, willpower. Well, yeah, because you even said, during these 2 years, there were some days that you go, this isn't for me. And I can
Hmm.
promise you, if I was doing it, I'd probably be like that every day for the first, God knows how long, 6 months. I can't imagine getting used to that, but it sounds
You,
nice.
now that you get used to it, you fall in love with it, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Todd, the animals are amazing. And like I said, I am gifted the sunrise and the sunset every day, and it is in my face, like every day I stand there, water, even though it's cold some days, like today, yesterday.
How cold does it
But
get over there? How cold does it get over there?
we can get really cold. It's surprising. I mean, this week we it killed a lot of our food this week. And a lot of chickens, actually. One died
Wow,
today. That's another thing on the farm. You really get to know life and
death.
death. Well, a lot of death on the
So the
farm. So,
people, the people on the farm, as a whole, have I would say it sounds like a higher frequency connection as a little collective with these animals that range from donkeys to chickens to goats to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They value the animals truly, not
yes.
just not they don't see the animals as something that serves them. They see it as part of, like, the stars, basically.
Hmm. I mean, we put these animals up in the house with us. We nurse them. If they need to, when they're sick, we go above and beyond anything we possibly can. And we also give them all our herbs and stuff like that. And there was just some disease that was going around that was killing. I don't know if one of the goats got it and actually did die. I don't know if it was the same exact thing, but the yak got it. And so far, she's brought back to life. And
Well,
when the vet came, they weren't really, I don't know. Anyways, we did we gave everything we could to this beautiful creature, and she's doing a lot better. And most of the people around here, like on all the farm pages and stuff, they say that they'll lose the animal to this disease that supposedly the deer give to the some of the livestock. Not all of them will get it, just certain kinds. But
so this
we
is this is
put them apart.
crazy for a second. Here, hang on. I just want you to verify something for me here. Tell me, what are you talking about? A yak? This is a yak. Can you see
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Are,
yeah.
are you serious? You have a
We have
yak?
three. We have a mother, a mama, a papa, and a baby, and the baby's still.
Where in the hell did y'all get yaks? They're not from North America, are they? That's
Um,
insane. Look at that thing. Thing's
they're
huge.
beautiful. You got to see them run. Actually, Todd, they're outside of where I am, and when they run, their tails. Oh my God, they're majestic. They
Wow.
really are.
Trippy. Trippy. How do I get back? What did I do? Oh, that's wild. Where do they come from? Those things they look like a woolly, somebody said a woolly mammoth version of a cow. Yeah. Hey, if my friend Sam doesn't know, he's trying to come in. We're not on yet. We got 10 more minutes.
We're
Yeah.
not on live yet.
Oh no no. The next person is trying to come in,
Ah,
so I had to hang up on him. Yeah, this is cool. So you have three yaks.
I'm like, we're not live yet.
What
So,
do you? Yeah, right. This whole thing we were never live, right? No, there's been well over 100 people watching this. Um, yeah, what do you use the donkeys for? Or are they for anything?
well, we do want to give them a purpose.
Yeah.
We're not up to that yet, but maybe they'll pull some wood. Right now, they're miniature donkeys.
Oh, miniature
And
donkeys.
yeah, we'll breed them,
Well,
and maybe
that's
when people come to the farm, they'll be able to, visit with the donkeys. But
right. Do you have
that's
horse?
a lot of animals don't have jobs, but we
Oh, yeah.
want to give donkey a job.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Now, do you ever? You mentioned forest. Do you ever like run into like bears, coyotes, wolves, anything like that? Mountain lions or anything?
No, we
No.
haven't.
Oh, nothing.
Just hunters.
What's
I've
that?
been down by the water, and we have a creek that we can walk to, and it's beautiful.
Really?
And usually there's nobody there, but there can be hunters at times. So I've been down there, and I just run into hunters, and I just start singing, and then
They
they
leave.
leave.
Yeah. You should get like
I sing to scare away the animals, really.
yeah.
Well,
Do you
and my
really?
singing will scare away the animals, but it scared away the hunter, and that was fine. I mean, whatever.
I got you. Very cool. So, what are your plans? Are just taking it day by day, moment by moment, like so many people?
Like everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We when I first came here, I was set on just making beauty products and out of nature and things like that, and that's how I started. But now I'm way more involved. I mainly what I make is healing things. What if an animal needs something, or if somebody gets hurt or something like that. I make a lot of that up. I don't do so much makeup or
Right. Right.
hair products and stuff like that.
Well,
That's not.
I just saw the video where you were doing hair color, but it was from natural herbs. The hair color.
Yeah.
What did you? Oh, so as you're making these medicinal salves and remedies, do you feel like that some of the know-how's coming through just innately?
Totally. When you came to my house and I was still working, a lot and everything like that, I had all these herbs too, and a cabinet full of things. Not that I made myself like I try to do now, but I bought them all. And back then, I would open the cabinet, and if there was something I needed, I would just X the Y's. At that time, I said women. Now I say ones because men are included. And they would gear
Ones.
me to whatever it was that I needed to heal myself. And that's
Okay.
how I used to do it. But today I do a little more research too because I have time. And when you have time, you can do that kind of stuff. But most of the things that we do are intuitive first. We
Right.
go with those and Rebecca here on the farm, that's the beauty of it. Her and her husband, they are the divine masculine and the divine feminine union. They have that. So
They do. They have that.
he lets her, not lets her, that's ridiculous. He, is encouraging to her intuition. They moved here on her intuition. And that was way before COVID. It had nothing to do with COVID. It just had to do with, what her
Intuition.
intuition.
Yeah, her intuition. Enough
Yeah.
said. Yeah. So do
And
you?
and he goes with his now. Like
Yeah.
trusting her allowed him to trust his own intuition.
Right.
So
Right.
it's really a beautiful union to watch as well.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you miss the most?
The ocean.
The ocean.
Yeah.
You're not too far from the ocean. You're probably what, like 2.5 hours?
Like 6.
6 hours?
Yeah.
Whoa.
On the mountain, which is beautiful because,
Wow.
it's nature. But
So,
so is the ocean.
no kidding, right? I didn't realize you were that far. Huh.
Well, hopefully you'll come visit sometime. You'll love it here.
Man, I have no idea what's happening. Where I'm going to go,
Well,
what's
you
going to
might be
happen.
over in wait, where is it? Australia.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I just, like I said, just get up and go to work, show up and share.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
And you
that's
are a connector of things. So, I mean, you've been doing this a lot longer than most people. So,
Mm,
which is bravo to you,
yeah.
Todd. And we really appreciate you and connecting so many of us. It's really a beautiful gift you've given to many, many people. And you are walking the walk
Mm,
that
thanks.
you talk.
I appreciate it, mi hermana. Yeah. Jenn Lynn, there's her name on the screen. That's your YouTube channel too, isn't it? Isn't
I
your?
don't know. I don't know about the name. I
I
was trying
think.
to give it to my dad one day. I was like, I don't know. I'll just send you a video. I don't know what the name is.
I think your name on YouTube is Jenn Lynn, just like
Oh,
that.
okay.
And of course on Facebook it is, you know. And yeah, we'll have to get together again sometime, and maybe you can talk
Yeah,
about some of the herbal stuff. You know what I mean? Like more
yeah.
specifically, like what you've learned and stuff, because it's pretty fascinating. Yeah, I appreciate it, and
Sounds
I
good.
really appreciate you always being so forthcoming, and just being real. It's not we need more of that. So I appreciate it. Peace out.
I appreciate you. Take care,
Until
Todd.
okay, you too.